Welcome back, everyone. We're going to do a short video series here on how to book your first cruise. It can be kind of overwhelming at first. Once you figure it out, though, it's not too bad, but we're going to give you guys some good tips here to follow along. And, of course, we're always here to help you. So stay tuned.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I want.
Okay, so now you've decided that you want to, or at least have more interest in booking a cruise for the first time. But where do you even start? If you ask 5 different people 5 different opinions on a cruise, you're gonna get them all. So, what line's the best? How do you book it? What do you do? Where do you go? What do you see? That's what we're gonna try to help you in a short video, is kind of narrow down all of the options so you can make the best choice for you.
Well, as simple as it may be, no.
It's not.
You got to narrow it down. When am I looking to go on a cruise? You could take January right now when it's wave season and there's very good sales. You could say when the kids are out of school in June or July, that's when we want to go. It's going to be a little bit more expensive.
And busy.
So that's going to lead us right into the next thing here. What's your budget? Look, guys, you can cruise from $800, $1,000, $10,000. What's your budget? Yeah. What's your budget?
Yeah.
What itinerary do you want to go on? Do you want to see the Eastern Caribbean? We haven't been back there in quite a while because we keep getting stuck in the Western Caribbean. We got to find a cruise line that's going to get us to the Eastern Caribbean where we want to go. Or, of course, there's always the Mediterranean, which that's on our bucket list, but, flights.
So you kind of narrowed it down to where you're going to be. You kind of know where you want to go. You kind of want to know when you want to go. And cruise line is going to be important. Our biggest tip right now, regardless how you're going to book it, we'll get to that next, is go on Expedia. We have all of the tools available to ourselves on how to find cruises, the insides and outs of them. First thing we do when we book any trip ever is go on Expedia. Why? Because it's an amazing search engine. Doesn't mean that you have to book through Expedia, but you can search. You can say, okay, we've narrowed it down. We want to cruise in March. We want to cruise for 5 days. And we want to cruise for a budget under $3,000. You can put that into Expedia, and it's going to line up every single option that you have. That way, you can now start narrowing it down even more specifically. And with no general, ideas of what's actually going on at your date and time, but say that you've got a Royal Caribbean sailing out of New York in the times that you want, a Carnival sailing out of Florida, you've got Celebrity sailing out of Florida, whatever it is, you've now got 3 or 4 options that you can now take it down even more granular of, okay, well, it's pretty easy to fly to Florida, or, hey, we can drive to New York. This is what we want to do. And you can narrow it down to 1 or 2, maybe 3 options, and then take it even farther to go down now specifically to the trip, the ship, the line, and really start researching it more, saying, we do the same thing of, okay, we're taking our family this time. This ship doesn't really look like a family ship, or this ship looks like it would be great because they have a great kids club. Maybe they have a rock wall. Your kids love rock walls. We have a kid that loves a zip line. So it's one of those things that, hey, that ship has a zip line. That kid would love that ship. Maybe that's the cruise we want to go on, and kind of go from there. Okay, now we know we're going on a cruise. We know what cruise line. We know where we want to go. We want to know what ship we want to be on. How do you book it? Lots of ways. So first one is travel agent. Always recommend it, especially if you're a first-time traveler, because a travel agent obviously knows the ins and outs, the best way to do things. They're going to handle it all the way too, from booking to the time you sail. Any problems you have a travel agent. They're great to use. I would say recommend one thing with a travel agent is you want to make sure your travel agent is familiar with the cruise that you're booking. We did experience that the first time that we ever were looking at booking with a cruise. We kind of had it narrowed down from Expedia of what we wanted to go on. And in that case for us, it was an MSC cruise. MSC is not a very popular cruise line in the United States. At that time, even more so because it was a couple years ago. And we did call a local travel agent who had never even heard of MSC. So we found ourselves doing a lot of our own work and ended up not booking with that travel agent. Not that they weren't a great travel agent, they just weren't familiar with what we wanted. So in that case, we ended up booking direct. We booked directly with the MSC and then handled everything ourselves. For us, that worked. That does not mean that's going to work for everybody. We are very tech savvy, we're research heavy. You know, we're willing to take the time in that. If that's not something that you're willing to do and you're not willing to own all that, you're best to book with a travel agent. Just find a travel agent that's most familiar with what you want. And plenty of travel agents out there. Tip with the travel agents, you're not going to pay more. You don't pay for a travel agent. They make their money in a different way. But it's not going to cost you more. If anything, you're going to get additional perks and benefits by booking with a travel agent.
So before we go into third party here, which I will cover, I just wanted to add something real quick as to what Carrie was saying. On every single ship, there's always an area for future cruise. Oh, yeah. That is a great place to go book. If you absolutely love the cruise you were on, you go down, schedule an appointment. If nobody's there, go see the guy. And a lot of times, too, you put down $100 and they give you $200 of shipboard credit, and you've got up till 90 days before you sail to get it all paid off. That was a great way. We did that. We did it on our first one and scheduled our second one, and then COVID actually knocked that one out of the water, so it wasn't happening. But yeah, we've gone and seen that guy 2 or 3 times now. They're a great resource. They generally know they can help you out if you want to go somewhere else instead of the Mediterranean. Maybe you want to get down to South America out of Brazil or something like that. They know all this stuff and they can help you out very well.
And that one too, if you are booking with a travel agent, don't feel bad about booking with the future cruise consultant. It's usually typically what it's called on the ship. Because 90% of the lines, almost, I don't know of one that doesn't, will actually credit your travel agent for that. So you're not taking anything away from your travel agent. And once you leave the ship, your travel agent's actually going to help you from there on out. So don't feel like you're doing anything against your travel agent, because you're actually helping them a little bit with that one too.
So third party. And what we mean by this is other resources where you could potentially book the cruise. In our particular case, she's the one that always researches, does the cruises. Hey, you want to go on this one? Yeah, sure, let's go. Well, I got her one for Christmas, and I had never booked a cruise before. It was my first time. Just from being around her, I knew what all went into it and stuff like that. So I got an email from Spirit Cruises, which is associated with my Spirit card, Spirit Airlines, of course. And it actually worked out really well. They sent me an email, $37 a night. I'm like, oh yeah, right, I'm clicking on this. Well, I did, and I actually found a really great deal. 5-night cruise, it was under $1,000. So, I mean, you can't go wrong. You got to look into this stuff. The resources are out there. It's just up to you to find them.
Yep. Another little tip about those as well, depending on the circumstance and everything like that, there's ins and outs of that. Back to your travel agent. Some of those, if you book them out far enough ahead and don't pay in full for it, depending on the perks, but usually if it's before the pay in full date, a lot of times you can actually transfer that booking over to your travel agent, keep the perks that you got from your credit card or BJ's or Costco or whatever it was, but put it over to your own personal travel agent. So again, you're not doing anything against your travel agent, you're helping them out, and you can still get the perks of both.
But on that note too, just to make sure I was getting the best bang for my buck, I kept the screen open while I was in the celebrity tab, and I went back over to Expedia and I pulled up the same cruise on there, and I was actually saving $150. Yep. All right, you're all booked, you're ready to go. Let that countdown begin. What we always like to do is we download the app from the particular cruise line. There's usually a lot of useful information on there where you can pre-register, pre-board, you can take your picture ahead of time, you can get all that stuff done. You can book excursions on there ahead of time. You can buy your alcohol package. So many things that you can do. I would highly recommend getting that on there. I usually check it twice a day, and the day doesn't change from 89 to 88 twice a day, but it keeps you pretty excited.
I also like to, after I download the app, I'm a big person on social media, so I'll go on Facebook, is just the one I use the most. But I'll go on Facebook and I'll look up that ship. There's usually a Facebook group for almost every ship that you're on, definitely every cruise line that you're on. And then sometimes you can actually even find the specific sailing that you're on and join a group. They're great. We're experienced cruisers. We've been on a lot of cruises. And I still like joining them because it's one of those things that you can find people that maybe that's their favorite ship ever and they know the best restaurants, the best places to do. Oh, you have to hit this party. You're always going to find something new in those groups. You're also going to make some friends ahead of time. A lot of them will have meetups, things like that, where you can actually meet the people that you've been talking to for a few months. So those are fun. That's always a great one too. I find a lot of the groups super useful for me. Something I like to do is not everyone does it. There's also what's that website? There's another one too where
Cruise Critic?
Cruise Critic. Cruise Critic also has roll calls. They're called roll calls for each individual sailing. Same idea. It's kind of done. It's a little different than the Facebook groups, but it's more of like a chat group type thing. Same situation. And a lot of the cruise lines actually host a party specifically for that one too.
Would you have to pre-register or be a member of Cruise Critic?
I think you do. It's free. But yeah, you get into that, and then a lot of the cruise lines actually host a meet and greet for the Cruise Critic, which is kind of fun. We've had those. Yeah.
The other thing too, you've always got YouTube.
YouTube.
I mean, we've got how many videos and shorts out there, right? I've lost count. If you're looking for something, if you're looking for a particular cruise line, don't just watch one channel. Watch a couple of them. Get some opinions. There's different opinions out there. You might see the same part of the ship 2 or 3 times. You might see something new, but everybody sees something different. Mm-hmm. Our first cruise, I think we knew our way around the ship before we got onto it because we watched so many YouTube videos because we were so excited. And of course, if you want to leave a comment below, we're here to help you out. You can email us at dennis@saltybeachtravel.com or Carrie@saltybeachtravel.com. We can help you guys out. If you got questions, hey, we're here for you.
And then also, my last thing too is don't let bad reviews scare you. You're going to see them. Remember, people are more prone to complain about something than they are going to compliment. Obviously, if you're seeing a ton of complaints about the same thing, that might be something to be careful of. But don't let one bad review scare you. Go into every single cruise, every single thing with an open mind. Things are going to happen. There's always going to be. We've had a very bad sailing that didn't stop us from sailing that ship or that cruise line. It was a one-off. It wasn't fun, but it happens. It happens. But then it is what it is. Form your own opinions. Go into it. Have a blast. And I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and every cruise that we've been on, there's always been somebody at customer service complaining or shouting. It happens. I mean,
it happens.
It's just the way it is.
But the majority of the time's fun. We've had bad times. We've had great times. We keep going back. So obviously nothing's been that terrible that has scared us away from cruising. So.
But hey, if you could hit that subscribe button. We are on a roll right now and having an absolute blast. Smash that like button for us here. Keeps everything rolling. And we will talk to you guys real soon.
Talk to you soon. Next video is coming up is going to be on what to do after you've booked your cruise, on excursions, ports of call, and how to find all that. So hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for another video coming soon.
Thanks, guys.